Your neighbor is a shoemaker who needs wheat. Perfect. Right. You make a direct trade. Have you ever stopped to think about that little piece of plastic in your wallet or the numbers on your banking app? What asterisk is asterisk money, really? It seems like such a simple question, but the answer takes us on an incredible journey through thousands of years of human history, from trading seashells to swapping digital code. Today, we're going to unravel the fascinating story of money. By the end of this video, you won't just understand how we got here. You'll have a much clearer picture of your own financial world. Let's rewind the clock, way back before coins, before paper, before even the idea of a bank. Imagine you're a farmer and you have a surplus of wheat, but what you really need is a new pair of shoes. This is bartering, the earliest form of commerce. It's simple and it works, to a point. But what if the shoemaker doesn't need your wheat? What if he wants a clay pot instead? You'd have to find a potter who wants your wheat, trade for a pot, and then trade that pot with the shoemaker. See how complicated that gets? This problem is called the double coincidence of wants. For a trade to happen, both people have to want exactly what the other person has. It's inefficient and puts a serious limit on how big an economy can grow. People needed a better way, so humanity started looking for anything that everyone could agree had value. This led to the birth of commodity money. These were items that had intrinsic value on their own, but also served as a medium of exchange. Depending on where you were in the world, this could be anything. We're talking salt in fact. The word salary comes from the Latin salarium, which was the payment Roman soldiers received to buy salt. In other places, people used cowrie shells, cocoa beans, large stones, or even cattle. These were better than bartering because more people were willing to accept them, but they still had problems. Imagine carrying a cow around to buy your groceries. They were bulky, not easily divisible, and could spoil or die. Clearly, we still needed a more practical solution. This is where precious metals enter the story, particularly gold and silver. Why them? Well, they had all the right qualities. They were durable. They don't rust or decay. They were portable. A small amount could be worth a lot. They were divisibly, could easily break them down into smaller units, and they were relatively scarce, which helped them hold their value. Around 600 BC, the kingdom of Lydia, in modern-day Turkey, had a brilliant idea. They started stamping pieces of a gold and silver alloy called electrum with an official seal. These were the world's first coins. The stamp guaranteed the weight and purity of the metal, so people no longer had to carry scales and test the metal for every transaction. This innovation was a game changer. Coinage spread like wildfire across Greece, Rome, and eventually the entire world. It standardized trade and fueled the growth of massive empires. For the first time, economies could operate on a truly grand scale. For over 1,000 years, coins reigned supreme. But carrying around bags of heavy gold and silver was still risky and inconvenient, especially for large transactions. Enter the next big leap: paper money. The concept first emerged in China during the Tang dynasty around the 7th century. Merchants, wanting to avoid carrying heavy strings of coins, would leave their money with a trusted agent and receive a paper receipt. These receipts started to be traded as if they were the money itself, because everyone knew they could be redeemed for the actual coins by the Song dynasty. The government saw the potential, took over the system, and started issuing the world's first official government-backed paper currency. In Europe, the idea took a bit longer to catch on. It wasn't until the 17th century that banks began issuing banknotes, which were essentially promises to pay the bearer a certain amount of gold or silver on demand. This was the beginning of representative money. The paper itself wasn't valuable, but it represented a specific amount of a valuable commodity held in a vault. This system, known as the gold standard, dominated the global economy for a long time. It provided stability because the amount of money in circulation was directly tied to a country's gold reserves. However, it also had limitations. A country couldn't just print more money to stimulate a struggling economy. It had to acquire more gold first. This rigidity became a major problem during global crises like the Great Depression and the World Wars. Countries needed more flexibility to manage their economies. So, in 1971, a pivotal decision was made. The United States, under President Nixon, officially severed the link between the US dollar and gold. Since the dollar was the world's reserve currency, this effectively ended the gold standard for everyone. This ushered in the era we live in today, the age of fiat money. The word fiat comes from Latin, meaning "let it be done." Fiat money is currency that a government declares to be legal tender, but it isn't backed by a physical commodity. That dollar bill in your pocket has value simply because the government says it does. And more importantly, because we all collectively believe and accept that it does. Its value is based on trust and the stability of the issuing government and its economy. This system gives central banks, like the Federal Reserve in the US, incredible power. They can control the money supply, influence interest rates, and try to manage inflation and unemployment. Almost all currencies in the world today, from the euro to the Japanese yen, are fiat currencies. But the story doesn't end there. The last few decades have brought about a revolution that is just as profound as the invention of coins or paper. The digital revolution. Money is becoming increasingly abstract, transforming from physical objects into pure information. Think about it. When you get your paycheck, it's likely a direct deposit, just numbers changing in a computer system. When you use your credit card or a payment app, no physical cash changes hands. It's all just a secure transfer of data. This has made commerce faster, more global, and incredibly convenient. We can now send money across the world in seconds. This shift to digital has been gradual, but total. For most of us, the majority of our financial lives already exist purely in the digital realm, and now we're on the cusp of the next chapter, crypto. In 2009, a person or group using the pseudonym Satoshi Nakamoto released Bitcoin, the first decentralized digital currency. Unlike the digital dollars in your bank account, which are controlled by banks and governments, cryptocurrencies are powered by a technology called blockchain. Blockchain is a distributed public ledger that is secured by cryptography. This means that transactions can be verified and recorded without needing a central authority like a bank. This is a radical idea. It introduces concepts like true digital ownership and permissionless transactions. Bitcoin, Ethereum, and thousands of other cryptocurrencies are exploring this new frontier. They present both incredible opportunities and significant risks. They're volatile, their regulation is still being figured out, and the technology is complex. But they are forcing us to ask fundamental questions about what money is and who should control it. Are they the future, a passing fad, or something in between? Only time will tell. So, from a simple swap of wheat for shoes to a global network of decentralized code, the evolution of money is really the story of human ingenuity. It's a story of our constant search for better tools to cooperate and create value. Understanding this journey isn't just an interesting history lesson, it empowers you. It helps you understand how the economy works, why your savings might lose value to inflation, and what the headlines about interest rates and cryptocurrency really mean. Financial literacy begins with understanding the nature of money itself. By knowing where money came from, you're better equipped to navigate where it's going and make smarter decisions for your own financial future. Thank you so much for joining me on this incredible journey through the history of money. I hope it's given you a new perspective on those coins, bills, and digital balances we use every day. If you found this video insightful, please give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. We have a lot more content coming your way to help you master your money and understand the world of finance. Don't forget to ring the notification bell so you won't miss a thing. See you in the next video.